It's only in the rumored stage right now, but could be really interesting. The two genres that have embraced the new 3D technology, horror and animation. Now, I asked Katzenberg, I said, when are we going to start seeing, more mainstream films embracing the 3D? And he said, well, right now the big debate is it only for the event films or is it only for certain things? James Cameron's Avatar, which you're going to see at Christmas, does have 3D in it. I am told Robert Zemeckis' Christmas Carol with Jim Carrey, where he plays multiple characters, will also have 3D in it. And we don't know what the project is, but I know that George Lucas and Steven Spielberg are looking at 3D right now. Now, it's been no secret that Lucas has been considering converting the Star Wars films to 3D. I'm kind of curious, and don't take this as me saying this is what's going to happen, it's just a thought. Harrison Ford and Spielberg have confirmed that they are already kicking around ideas for Indiana Jones 5. Now, remember the last time they kicked around ideas, it took about 12 years. But, Indiana Jones 5, 3D, Indiana Jones 5, 3D, kind of makes you wonder if that's where they might be leaning. So, but, I don't know about that because Spielberg still likes to use film, and George is really onto him to get off that old archaic mode and get into the digital stuff and that sort of thing. So, speaking of archaic, anyone here a fan of Disneyland? Good. And Tomorrowland, you remember how the big news years ago they had to remake it because so it looked more like the future and all that? Well, and it's a shame too. I've got to be one of the few people that actually rode the rocket rods before the thing broke down for the hour and 45-minute in line, rode it for an hour and a half, fantastic thing. It kept breaking down and they finally scrapped it about 3 months later. We got the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, they had the Country Bears ride, and they had the Haunted Mansion, which was not so successful. Well, now they've decided, I've heard rumors, hey, we may try to do the Jungle Cruise. I always thought, well, they should do Thunder Mountain, make it like an old Apple Dumpling Gang style film, that sort of thing. Well, they've said, no, you know what, one ride isn't enough. And thank God they're not doing Small World, because that's really the biggest nightmare in the world. And my wife always tells me, she goes, oh, it's such a wonderful thing. And I've been saved the last few times we went, the lines go through the roof. I broke down, the ride broke down for 25 minutes on that ride once, and I had to hear that song nonstop for 25 minutes. And let me tell you, it was not the happiest place on earth. I walked right off that and said, it was at the one in Florida, and I said, all right, thankfully, Thunder Mountain was much closer to that than it was in California. I'm like, get me something that has some kind of pulse to it. But anyway, I mention that because Disney's plan is, as you know, The Rock has been embracing a lot of the Disney films, Witch Mountain, which I thought was actually quite good, very, nice update of it. Apparently they're contemplating doing the entire Tomorrowland as a movie. So we'll see that. And the Toy Story films are being re-released in 3D, and of course that's going to pave the way for Toy Story 3, which will come out next year. And you're going to see some really, really interesting stuff coming with that. And I mentioned how one of the things you're looking at right now is sequels and remakes, because the economy being bad, those have proven constantly to be the most successful format out there. And now we get to the really, really, really fun stuff. Family Guy fans, you do know something Dark Side is coming this year, right? Which is Family Guy does The Empire Strikes Back. That's apparently what they're going to end this season with. And they have already confirmed that, yes, Return of the Jedi is next. They're contemplating the prequel films. And Seth MacFarlane recently said, I kind of would like to really take a shot at some of the Star Trek films, especially the Wrath of Khan. So that's going to go. Now, I don't know if you're aware, but do you know who's playing Boba Fett in the Family Guy? The chicken. And since Peter is on Solo, you can see where it is. So we're going to have Ollie of the Blackie Weather Forecast is apparently going to be Lando. So we've got some really. Although I heard that may change, though. There was a rumor they said they may change it, and Mort may actually play Lando. So we'll see how that comes out. So since we're talking about classics of the past, Lone Ranger. Johnny Depp is Tonto. And here's the rumor, George Clooney is the Lone Ranger. And they are remaking Judge Dredd. You know? And you know about Steve Carell's got Get Smarter in the works. And they're redoing the Hellraiser, they're redoing the A-Team. Prince of Persia's coming. And, you know, everyone always asks me, Wonder Woman, Wonder Woman. He's like, you know, at this point, until they actually cast the role, I'm not even going to talk about it. It's been 3 years, I've been told. It's been Ashley Judd, it's been this person, it's been, you know, everybody, you know, what's her name? Sophia Bush, and now it was Jessica Biel was the latest rumor. It's like, you know, all right, cast the film and then we'll believe it. Jurassic Park 4 has been shelved, apparently. They decided not to go ahead with it because apparently they thought once Michael Crichton passed away, it was no longer appropriate to do it. So, give it 5 years. Give it 5 years, and you know, once the lines at the theme park start thinning down at the Jurassic Park ride, that's when someone will say, you know, if you need T-shirts, action figures in here. So, let's see what we can come out with. Elf Stones, I can never say this, so bear with me. Elf Stones of Shannara is apparently in the works right now. 28 months later, is still being considered. Danny Boyle off Slumdog Millionaire says he absolutely wants to do this. And looking around, I think some people will definitely be in the demographics. 3 Apples High, digital animation, possibly 3D. The Smurfs are in the development stage. And as if the book, the mini-series in the original film didn't confuse you enough, they're going to try Dune again. Let's see if that makes sense. And, you know, this one I can't figure, I'm still having a hard time with this. We've been trying to lock down some of the Iron Man 2 casting. Now, we know that Terrence Howard's out, Don Cheadle's in. Mickey Rourke apparently is in it, but we don't know, is he Whiplash, is he what? You know, all they're saying is bad guy, maybe a Russian. Excuse me?
Crimson Dynamo.
Right, that's the one that they're saying now, and now we're hearing Sam Rockwell maybe in it. And on the flip side, Mick G is doing 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Apparently they decided to remake that. And let me tell you, I actually did get a chance to go on the new Nemo submarine ride, which was really cool. But it is not designed for tall people. Ooh. I was sitting sideways with my knees against that bulkhead, and then when it was coming time to dock, I'm like, all right, get me out of this tin can, I am done. But on a side note, as we're mentioning Disney in 3D, if you want to get an idea of some of the 3D they're experimenting with, and if you can stand waiting in line 2 hours, the Toy Story game, Toy Story ride, absolutely sensational, and the 3D is amazing. And the great thing about it is that it all moves, and so like you'll hit a target, and all of a sudden you get a blast of air or water in your face and stuff like that. So it's sweet, but yeah, hour 45-minute, 2 hour line. I'll tell you how you get around it. They have a single rider line, so if you don't mind waiting, you can cut it down to 20 minutes. Is what I had to do. But anyway, back to the superhero film, Shazam. It's going to happen. You know, it's hard to believe, but apparently the idea of a naive young guy traveling around the country with an older man just didn't go in a mobile home, stopping at all sorts of back roads, just decided, no, that's not going to happen. Not going to do that one. But Frank Miller of the 300 fame apparently is developing Buck Rogers. He's got the rights to it, and even though his stock has fallen a little bit, I doubt it's going to last, because I'm sure the moment you know, the Sin City sequels start popping up, it's going to go right back. He apparently is working on Buck Rogers. Resident Evil 4 is being worked on. This part I'm sure is going to change, but apparently it's going to be set in Japan without Mila, and I'm thinking there's no way that's going to happen. So, but there's also Castlevania in the works, which apparently Mila has been rumored to be possibly a part of. So not a bad thing. And we mentioned that. Now here's what I'm very curious about, Green Hornet fans. What do you guys honestly think is Seth Rogen and their plans to do it as a comedy? Yeah, okay, good. I'm not alone on that one.